I just got back from Atlanta Market in July, and normally the July shows are a lot slower than the winter shows, which I think was true of this time as well. But we actually had an even better show than in January. So here are a couple of tips that I have that I think helped make my summer show even more successful than my January show. First of all, if you are not familiar with the shows I'm talking about, I take my brand, I take samples, one of each item, I have them in a showroom in Atlanta, in America's Mart, and wholesale customers come from all over the country and walk through these 3 giant buildings in Atlanta to find brands that they want to order from to stock their stores. It's not just like independent retail stores. There's also big box stores. So like Barnes and Noble, Hobby Lobby, Target, all kinds of stores like that. And there's also just businesses like you wouldn't maybe normally think of. So there's like subscription boxes, or there's companies that do a lot of gifting or like free gifts in their order, or even like corporate gifting. There's just a lot of companies out there that need good product to use in the course of their business, whether they're selling it or doing something else. So met a lot of really good leads at the show, and we also took some really great orders. And I think that there's basically 5 or so things that really helped us step up this show. So number 1, I recommend, if you can, to be in the showrooms in Atlanta versus the temporaries. I don't like temporaries. There are a lot of different shows that have temporaries, not just Atlanta. So the ones I know of are San Francisco, New York now, obviously Atlanta, America's Mart, Las Vegas, the magic shows. So there's like Las Vegas, Nashville, and Orlando for those, and New York, I think. And then there's Dallas. I think Chicago used to have a stationary show. There's a lot of other regional shows out there. There's even one actually in High Point, North Carolina that's mostly furniture based. They all have temporaries, and temporaries are exhausting. You have to haul your whole booth there. Usually you ship it in on a pallet. They deliver it to your spot, and then you construct the whole booth over the course of a day or two. You have the show for like 3 to 6 days, and then you take it all down, and it kind of sucks. Not only are you there for an extra day on the beginning and end for setup and takedown, but you just feel kind of wiped out at the end of it. And usually you're traveling on the days that you're setting up as well. And it's a whole thing. I never enjoyed temporaries, and I'm so relieved to not be doing the temps in Atlanta and Vegas. So I am in the Best of Show showroom, where we are able to do our own selling as the brand owners versus having reps who take commission. I am also in a rep showroom called Daniel Richards, which is 4 floors above Best of Show in Atlanta, and I also really enjoy that. I just like the ability to also attend the shows myself and have my own booth where I can actually take orders and interact with the retailers more directly. So very big fan of having both. If you can get yourself into a reputable rep showroom, I highly recommend that as well. It just depends on like being a good fit for your brand. There are some showrooms that are better suited to certain kind of sub-industries within gifting. Not to say like there's any that aren't reputable, just like a good fit. And I feel like Daniel Richards is a really good fit for me. So I'm very happy about that. Best of Show is really lovely. Like I mentioned, we don't have to set up or take down. They also help us with the actual booth construction. So I have like floating shelves that are drilled into my walls, and like the wall is painted like an off-white color. I have furniture that lives there permanently. And they also have showroom helpers who help scan badges of the people who are coming in so that we have their company info to look at later. And they also like serve us lunch and have snacks and stuff. So that's all super helpful, and I recommend getting into a showroom if you can. Definitely in Atlanta, people tend to be in building 2 where the showrooms are. The temporaries are in building 3, and I think it's just more empty. There's only 5 floors to see in the temporaries. Not even really. It's more like 3 real floors. There's also cash and carry and stuff. So anyway, all the buildings are connected, but I feel like people spend the most time in building 2 and kind of go to every floor. So I feel like buyers are definitely more attracted to the showrooms. I think also the temporaries can be kind of intimidating because you really never know what you're going to get in there. but the showrooms require more of an upfront investment. So the brands that are in there are a little more established and just have usually a more built out line. So it's kind of generally a better bet if you're a buyer to be in building 2. Something I also really like about the showroom I'm in is it's all the independent brand owners. We all know each other, we all talk to each other and really become familiar with each other over the course of the week. And we also try to like pass on buyers if we know they're going to be a good fit. So if I know that there's like a bookstore, I'll pass them to my neighbor who has a lot of like book adjacent giftables, like with classic authors and things like that, or like a Christian bookstore. I know I can pass to the like faith-based jewelry brand that has really lovely owners. So there's just like things here and there where you kind of pick up what other brands specialize in and you can kind of tell they're a good fit for the buyer you're speaking to. So that's just like really lovely to have that community. Number 2, something that really improved my show over January is I had even more small giftables in stock and I had them out on my 2 front kind of tables. So I didn't originally have all my mushroom leather items. So wallets, wristlets, passport covers, luggage tags, all of that wasn't in stock in January. So I wasn't able to show it. And those are some of my best sellers for sure. So having them all available in this show beefed up my orders a lot and also attracted people to the table. So a lot of like boutiques or clothing brands are able to pick up my line because they also stock accessories. And then also the brands that were already stocking my cosmetic bags or carry-all pouches or things like that also grabbed wallets. So it made orders larger and it also attracted people who were looking for those best-selling little giftables and accessories. And because the July shows tend to be people shopping for Christmas, those are also really good stocking stuffers. So putting some attention on those little giftables and putting them out right in front of my booth, I think was a easier sell for people who were shopping specifically for stocking stuffers for their store for the holiday season. Number 3, something that I'm really trying to do and get better at is making sure I'm getting photos of people's badges and then getting their business cards and uploading them to Faire, which is our online wholesale marketplace, as quickly as possible because Atlanta market is 1 week before Faire market. And we've definitely already had some orders from people who we met in Atlanta and then ordered on Faire during Faire market week. So something that I think is going to help us going forward is just making sure we have all those customers that we've met in our database so we're able to contact them again if we want, but also to make sure that they're uploaded in Faire so that Faire doesn't take a commission from us because we met them at the trade show. And that is just hugely important because it can be really difficult to get those commissions adjusted. If you're familiar with Faire, you know how that all goes. So make sure for sure that you are getting a badge photo. And that's something that they will accept, I learned, because just having their email and sending them an email with your Faire direct link is not enough. And also make sure you have their business card because you can also easily like upload their business card just by scanning it with your camera. So super helpful thing. Highly recommend that because obviously if you meet someone at the show, they may not be ready to order like right then and there. You just need a couple days to look through your whole line. And that definitely happened for us a few times. So want to collect those badges and cards and follow up and all that. Number 4, something that has always helped at the shows is the show special that I offer. It just, I think, helps kind of get people thinking about whether they want to actually place an order versus just be like, oh, that's nice, I'll take a catalog and think about it later because they might forget. So definitely being able to kind of close the deal while you're at the shows, I think, is super important because then you have fewer people that you need to follow up with later. And also you're obviously just getting the order locked down and it kind of feels very productive to like have that already finished versus having to go back later and hopefully then like reconnect with somebody and then figure out how they want to put in their order and then actually put it in. So just it kind of streamlines the process and makes the most out of the time that you're at the show, but also like it actually just helps you secure the orders that you may otherwise lose. So the show special that I did was 10% off 500, 15% off 1,000. I used to do 3 tiers and have like 10% off, 15% off, 20% off, but it was too much to say. So I was like, let's just do 2. I think that'll be incentive enough for people. And also it just like kind of glazes over people's brains when you say so much to them at once. So I tried to keep it more simple and I think that really helped. People actually digested what my discount was instead of just trying to follow what I was saying. And it also was just like shorter and more concise. So I didn't feel like I was talking like way too much to them. So the show special was definitely helpful, and it's just a nice thing to like bring up and kind of gauge if they're actually going to want to place an order, because then you probably don't need to hand off a catalog to them. My catalogs cost over $10 this time a piece, which was crazy, but whatever, it's because it was like 70 pages. So I was like, okay, I don't need to hand off one of my catalogs because I think they're just going to order now. So super helpful to have a show special and make sure people know about it and just like bring it up, because also like sometimes buyers will assume that like you don't have a show special and so it's not urgent that they order. But if you're like, this is for the show, then they kind of feel like maybe they should just go ahead and put the order in. I also match my Faire market special, and I also guarantee free shipping. So on Faire, free shipping is in their court. There's nothing I can do to offer people shipping discounts as much. Like that's kind of handled by Faire. So I just guarantee it when I'm at the shows. Also an incentive for people to order with me instead of on Faire, because Faire can still take commissions, as I mentioned. So I try to avoid that. If I've already paid so much money to be at the show, if I meet someone there, I want to make sure I'm not paying the extra 15% that Faire might take. So I try to just always say like, okay, it's matched, in case someone says like, oh, are you going to be participating in Faire market? It's like, yes, it's the same deal, and I'm doing free shipping at the show. So I think it's important to match your Faire market discount, even though I know if you're like kind of in this world, you know that Faire has like a matching program. So if like I offer 5% off, Faire will offer 5% off as well and cover that. It's just not worth it because they still take 15%. So even though you're getting 5% back, you're paying an extra 10%. So all of the numbers aside, I just match my Faire market special regardless of how much Faire actually contributes to the Faire market. Number 5 is networking. Also, I think like you can determine how like good your show goes by not just the orders taken, but also by the connections you make. So I actually talked to multiple companies about working out licensing deals. That was really exciting, and I'm definitely going to pursue those opportunities. But also me and Wendy, who is my wholesale specialist, were able to connect with a lot of really larger stores that I think are going to hopefully in the future place orders that we could attribute to this trade show and would make it even more worth it than it already was. So I'm really happy that we were able to connect with like Hobby Lobby and Blick and Target and Books A Million and Barnes & Noble and a bunch of college bookstores and places like that. So feeling really good about that. Just keeping an eye out for those buyers and like kind of looking to see if they're a good fit, because there's obviously some big box stores that are never going to be a good fit for us. So I just try to kind of figure out like, oh, is there something that would fit with these particular stores? Like, for example, Blick is a art supply store. And so we were kind of gauging their interest on our paint by number sets and coloring books, and they were interested in both. So that's really great. I don't think they would necessarily take my like pouches and accessories, and that's totally fine. But that's another great thing about having many different items in stock and kind of different products that you can offer to different companies. So those are my 5 main tips for making the most out of a trade show. And even though the summer shows are slower in attendance, I still highly encourage you to try them because you never really know. My show was even better than January. Largely because of the things that I was talking about, and I'm super, super excited about that. And now I'm just hoping that we have an even better next January than we did in July. So fingers crossed. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you have any questions or comments, obviously leave them below, and don't forget to like and subscribe as well.